Hello everyone, I'm Dudu from Susan's family. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the Animism series, Floral Feather Dreamcather. This Dreamcatcher is divided into 3 sections: the main body, decorations, and fringe. First, we'll make the main body and decorations, then attach the decorations. Finally, make the fringe and attach them. Now, let's show. First, let's learn how to make the main body. It consists of motifs and connection. Start by crocheting the motifs. Finally, we'll do the connection. The motifs begin with the chain ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Several crochet stitches will be applied, all of which are marked on the chart. I won't list them all here. Now, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet techniques. This product is crocheted using variegated yarn. The variegated yarn has multiple color segments. Starting with different colors will result in different final product effects. You can refer to the finished product or choose according to your preference, selecting the appropriate color segment of the variegated yarn to start crocheting. Note that due to the special nature of this yarn, it's not easy to undo once worked. Learn the method first, and then proceed with crocheting. You can also practice with other yarns first, and then use the corresponding yarn for the final crocheting once you're proficient. For convenience in watching, I will demonstrate using cotton yarn here. The colors are random. For specific yarn details, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, start with a chain stitch. Make 5 chains. Pay attention to not making the starting chain too tight. After completing the chain, insert the hook into the top half loop of the first chain stitch. Pull through with a slip stitch. Tighten the yarn. The starting chain is now complete. Next, move on to the first round. Start with a standing stitch by making 3 chains. This will serve as the turning chain for the double crochet. It counts as 1 double crochet stitch. Then, work 23 double crochets into the starting ring. You can hide the yarn tail as you crochet. If there isn't enough space, you can shift the already worked double crochet slightly to the right before continuing to crochet. After completing the last double crochet, insert the hook into the third chain of the turning chain. Pick up 2 loops and pull through with a slip stitch. Tighten the yarn. This completes the first round. Next, move on to the second round. Start with a standing stitch by making 3 chains. Make another chain stitch for spacing. Then work a double crochet into the next double crochet on the left side. Note that the stitches nearby may pucker. Be mindful not to skip any stitches. Make another chain stitch. For this round, you will work a double crochet into each double crochet stitch with a chain stitch between each double crochet. Follow this method all the way to the last double crochet. After completing the last double crochet, work a single crochet into the third chain from the hook. This completes the second round. Now, let's move on to the third round. Start with a turning chain of 3. Then work a double crochet into the chain space below. Skip the chain space on the left side. In the next chain space, work 2 double crochets. Then make a chain stitch. In the same position, work 2 more double crochets. This creates a cluster of 4 double crochets with a chain stitch between them. Treat this as pattern A. Then skip the next chain space. In the following chain space, work a pattern A. For this round, continue to skip a chain space. And in the next chain space, work a pattern A. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete the last pattern A. After completing the last pattern A, work 2 double crochets into the chain space on the right side of the turning chain. Finally, work a single crochet into the third chain from the hook. This completes the third round. You can see that the right side texture of the double crochets is clear, while the wrong side texture is blurry. All motifs are worked on the right side. Move on to the fourth round. Start by making 3 beginning chains. Then work a double crochet in the chain space below. Next, work a chain for spacing. In the chain space of pattern A from the previous round, work a pattern A. Then work another chain. This is how this round goes. In the chain space of each pattern A from the previous round, work a pattern A. Separate each pattern A with a chain. Continue this process until you finish the last pattern A. After completing the last pattern A, work one more chain. Then, in the chain space on the right side of the beginning chain, work 2 double crochets. Finally, work a single crochet into the third chain of the beginning chain. This completes the fourth round. Now, work the fifth round. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Work a double crochet in the hole below. Then, work 2 chains. In the chain space between 2 pattern A's on the left side, work a single crochet. Work 2 more chains. Then, in the chain space of the pattern A from the previous round, work a pattern A. After completing it, work 2 chains. Work a single crochet in the chain space on the left side. Then, work 2 chains. This is how you do this round. In each chain space of pattern A from the previous round, work a pattern A. In the chain spaces between 2 pattern A's from the previous round, work a single crochet, work 2 chains on each side. Refer to the chart to complete this round. Finally, work a single crochet in the beginning chain. This completes the 5th round. Move on to the 6th round. The technique for this round is similar to the 5th round. In each chain space of pattern A, work a pattern A. Work a single crochet in the single crochets between each pattern A. Work 3 chains on each side of the single crochet. Refer to the chart to complete this round. After completing the 6th round, measure the width of the motif. Compare it with the dimensions on the chart. Make sure it does not exceed this size. If the motif is too large, you need to adjust your tension and recrochet a few rounds. That concludes the explanation for the 6th round. Now let's start the 7th round. Make 1 beginning chain. Work a single crochet in the hole below. Then work 9 chains. Next, work a single crochet in the chain space of pattern A from the previous round. Work 9 more chains. This round involves working into each chain space of pattern A from the previous round. Work a single crochet in each space. Between each 2 single crochets, work 9 chains. After completing the last single crochet, once the last single crochet is done, work 8 more chains. Then work a single crochet in the first single crochet. This completes the 7th round. Now continue to the 8th round. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then work 12 double crochets in the hole from the 9 chains on the left side. In this round, work 12 double crochets in each hole from the 9 chains of the previous round. Work 12 double crochets in each of these holes. Follow this method, referring to the chart to complete it. Pay attention, for the last hole, work 1 less double crochet. After completing, join with a slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain. This completes the 8th round. Now move on to the 9th round. Start with another chain of 3 for the turning chain. Then work a DC2 tog. Start with an incomplete double crochet on the first double crochet on the left side. Yarn over and insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. The incomplete double crochet is now complete. Next, work another incomplete double crochet on the same double crochet on the left side. The second incomplete double crochet is now complete. Finally, yarn over and draw through all remaining loops. This completes the DC2 tog. Then work 2 chain stitches. Skip the first double crochet on the left side. Start from the second double crochet on the left side. Work a double crochet, skipping 1 double crochet in between. Work a total of 4 double crochets. Each double crochet is separated by 2 chain stitches. Consider these 4 double crochets and the 2 chain stitches in between as one pattern B. Next, work a DC3 tog. Skip 1 double crochet, work an incomplete double crochet on the next double crochet on the left side. Then work an incomplete double crochet on each of the next 2 double crochets on the left side. Work an incomplete double crochet on both of these double crochets. After completing them, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in one go. A DC3 tog is now completed. Next, work another pattern B. Start with 2 chain stitches. Then, from the second double crochet on the left side, work a double crochet, skipping 1 double crochet in between. Each double crochet is separated by 2 chain stitches. Finish with 2 chain stitches. This completes another pattern B. For this round, work a pattern B on each group of double crochets from the previous round. Work a pattern B on every group of double crochets. At the beginning and ending of each group of double crochets, work a DC3 tog. Follow this method to complete the round. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the top of the DC2 tog. This completes the 9th round. Next, work the 10th round. Start with a slip stitch in the chain space on the left side. The slip stitch in the oval shape does not need to be tightened. Then, make a chain 1 to start. Work 1 single crochet in the same position. Then work 2 chains. Skip the next chain space. Work 3 double crochets in the following chain space. Then work 3 chains. Work another 3 double crochets in the same position. Then work 2 more chains. Skip another chain space. Work 1 single crochet in the next chain space. We will consider these 2 single crochets and the stitches between them as one pattern C. Then work 3 chains. For this round, you repeat pattern C on each pattern B from the previous round, with a group of pattern C worked on each pattern B. Between each pattern C, work 3 chains. Follow this method to complete the last group of pattern C. After completing the final pattern C, work one more chain. Then work one half double crochet in the first single crochet. This completes round 10. Now move on to round 11. Make one beginning chain. Then work one single crochet by picking up the entire half double crochet. Next, work one double crochet in each of the following 6 double crochets on the left side. In the space made by 3 chain stitches, work 3 double crochets. On either side of the double crochets, work 1 chain for transition. We will consider these 2 chains and the stitches between them as one pattern D. Then work 1 single crochet in the left chain space. In this round, you will work 1 pattern D on each pattern C. Work a pattern D on each group of pattern C. For the spaces between each group of pattern D made by 3 chains, work 1 single crochet in each space. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete this round. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. This completes round 11. Now move on to round 12. First, make a slip stitch in the left chain space. Then, make another slip stitch in the first double crochet on the left. After completing this, start with a chain 1. Work 1 single crochet in the left chain space. Next, work a chain 3 picket, also known as a picket stitch. To begin, work 3 chains. Then insert the hook into the front loop of the single crochet, that is, the strand closest to you, and also the strand on the left. Work a slip stitch through both strands. This completes 1 picket stitch. Next, work another single crochet in the same chain space. Then, work 1 single crochet in the left chain space, followed by a picket stitch. Let me demonstrate this again. First, work 3 chains. Then insert the hook into the front loop of the single crochet, and also the strand on the left. Work a slip stitch. The second picket stitch is now complete. Work another single crochet. In this round, you will work into each pattern D group from the previous round. Work 2 single crochets into these 8 chain spaces in the middle, with a picket stitch in between. Note that you do not need to work into the chain spaces on either side of the single crochets. Follow this method to complete the round. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. After completing, compare the dimensions with those in the chart. If the dimensions differ significantly, adjust your tension and rework the last few rounds. After measuring the dimensions, make a chain stitch to secure. Leave a 5 cm yarn tail, then cut the yarn. Pull tight. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. This completes round 12. Next, we will connect. Take out the motif and the ring. Make a slip knot with the yarn tail. Use the crochet hook to draw through the ring at any point. Adjust the size of the loop. Then make a chain stitch to start. Take out the motif. Find any 2 picket stitches at the top of the motif. Work a single crochet into the hole of the right picket stitch and the ring. You can weave in the yarn tail as you crochet. Next, work 3 single crochets into the ring. Pay attention, this round might be a bit tricky. You'll need some patience. Ensure all single crochet stitches face outward from the ring. When drawing through, slightly tighten the loop. Yarn over and draw through again. This will make the single crochet tighter. Next, work a single crochet into the hole of the left picket stitch and the ring. This connects one group. Continue working the corresponding number of single crochets into the ring. After completing, connect another group. Pick up the whole of the next top right picket stitch. Join in. Work a single crochet into the ring. Then, work 3 more single crochets. Next, work a single crochet into the whole of the left picket stitch and the ring. This completes another group. For the remaining part, continue connecting using this method. If you run out of space while crocheting, move the completed section to the right and continue crocheting. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. Then, make a chain stitch to secure. Leave a 5 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. You can tidy up the motif. Ensuring the single crochet stitches face outward toward the outer edge of the ring. At the same time, make sure the joining points are evenly distributed. This completes the connection between the motif and the ring. Next, I'll explain the decorative elements. These include the leaves, flowers, medium flowers. Small flowers and pom-poms are made separately. And then sewn onto the main piece after completion. Next, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet methods for each decoration. Let's start with the leaves. Begin with foundation chains. Work in rounds along the row of chain stitches. Watch the demonstration. First, make the corresponding number of chain stitches. Before starting the chain, leave a long yarn tail. The specific length is noted on the pattern chart. After completing the starting chain, place a stitch marker on the last chain stitch to mark it. Now, let's begin the first round, R1, chain 1 to start. Insert the hook into the top of the second to last chain, which is the position marked by the stitch marker. Pick up the yarn from the top of that chain. Work 1 single crochet, SC. In the next chain, adjacent braid, work 1/2 double crochet, HDC, yarn over once, insert the hook, and draw through. You should have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in one motion. 1/2 double crochet, HDC, is completed. Continue by working 2 double crochets, DC, downward. Move on to work 1 treble crochet, TR, yarn over twice. Insert the hook, and draw through. There are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over on after another. Draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 3 times. The treble crochet, TR, is completed. Continue with the second stitch. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. And draw through. Yarn over again. Draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. The second treble crochet stitch is done. Continue working down for 4 more stitches. After completing those, work 2 double crochets, DC. One-half double crochet, HDC, yarn over, insert the hook, and draw through, yarn over, and draw through once. The half double crochet, HDC, is completed. Now you're at the edge where the braid is. Work 1 single crochet, SC, into it, then 2 chain stitches, CH, followed by 1 single crochet, SC. Rotate the piece. Now you're at the other side of the starting point. Insert the hook into the second chain, stitch. Work a half double crochet, HDC, into it. Pick up both loops of the braid. While crocheting, place the yarn tail of the cast on, above the crochet hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. You can see that the half double crochets, HDC, are worked into the same hole. Continue downwards. Pick up the loops of the chains on this side, the remaining 2 strands, and work the corresponding stitches. Keep crocheting all the way to the left side, to the braid marked by the stitch marker. For the last braid, also pick up both strands. After completing the single crochet, SC, at the position of the beginning chain, make 1 slip stitch, SL street. An approximate position is fine. Pick up 2 strands. Insert the hook. Draw through. And pull through all the loops on the hook in one go. For this slip stitch, SL street, don't pull too tight. Cut off the yarn tail of the cast on. Leave a 30 cm tail at the end before cutting the yarn. This completes 1 leaf. Complete the remaining leaves using this method. That concludes the explanation of the leaves. Next, we will make the flowers. Start with a foundation chain. Work back and forth in rows. Please watch the demonstration. Begin with a chain stitch, CH. Leave about a 10 cm tail before starting. After completing, make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Work a single crochet, SC, into the second to last chain from the hook. Pick up the strand above the braid and crochet. Work single crochets, SC, into each stitch below, one by one. The first row is now completed. Here, I'm only demonstrating the method. The number of stitches is random. Next, we will work on the second row. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. The wrong side stitches are now in the top left position. Align the beginning chain with the stitch below it. Work 2 chains as a transition. Work 1 double crochet, DC, in the same stitch. Then skip the next 2 stitches. In the third stitch, work 1 double crochet, DC. Two chains. 1 double crochet, DC. Continue skipping 2 stitches each time. And in the third stitch, work the double crochet pattern. The second row is completed. Next, work the third row. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the workpiece. In this chain space, work 1 double crochet, DC. 2 chains. 2 double crochets, DC. This entire row will be worked. In the chain spaces of the previous row, work 2 double crochets, DC. 2 chains. 2 double crochets, DC. Refer to the chart and complete them as shown. This is what it looks like after completing the third row. Continue with the fourth row. Start with 1 chain stitch. Turn the workpiece. In the chain space, work 8 double crochets, DC. Then, between the 2 pattern groups in the previous row, work a slip stitch. The slip stitch in the chart is represented by a solid oval, indicating that you do not need to tighten it. Just continue crocheting. Keep working the corresponding number of double crochets, DC, in the chain spaces. After completing them, Move to the previous row. Work a slip stitch between the two pattern groups. Continue crocheting down to finish them. Finally, work one slip stitch between the last two stitches at the edge. Leave a long yarn tail and fasten off. The fabric piece is now completed. Starting from the side with the beginning chain yarn tail, roll it up. When rolling, ensure the right side of the last row is on the outside, facing yourself. Roll and adjust as you go, staggering the petals. Align the bottom edges. Temporarily secure the side seams first. By sewing back and forth along the second row a few times, this prevents the motifs from coming apart. Sew a few times at the edge where the beginning chain is. Sew a few times at the starting point of the edge. Leave the yarn tails for later. One flower is now completed. Repeat this process to make the corresponding number of flowers. Next, make the medium-sized flowers. These consist of section 1, section 2, and small pearls. Crochet section 1 and section 2 in sequence. Then sew on the small pearls. Finally, assemble all parts. Start section 1 with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Start section 2 with a chain stitch. Work back and forth. The medium-sized flowers use new stitch techniques. Single crochet increase. Please watch the demonstration. First, crochet section 1. After completing the magic ring, make a chain stitch to begin. Then, work 5 single crochets into the ring. After completing, pull the loop tight. Then slip stitch into the first single crochet. Pull tight. This completes the first round. Next, crochet the second round. Make a chain stitch to start. Slightly tighten. When you encounter a SC2 in 1, work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. This completes one SC2 in 1. Continue to work a SC2 in 1 in each single crochet from the previous round. Finally, slip stitch into the first single crochet. This completes the second round. Continue to crochet the third round. Make a chain stitch to start. Slightly tighten. Then work a single crochet. Work at SC2 in 1 in the adjacent single crochet. In this round, you will work a single crochet first. Then work another SC2 in 1 into each SC2 in 1 from the previous round. Everyone follows this method to crochet the entire round. Finally, slip stitch into the first stitch. This completes the third round. Move on to crochet the fourth round. Make a chain stitch to start. Work a single crochet. Work another single crochet in the left single crochet. Then make a picket stitch. Pay attention, don't make the chain stitch in the picket too tight. Then work single crochets correspondingly into each of the next 3 single crochets on the left side. Work single crochets one by one. Make another picket stitch. For this round, you will work a single crochet into each single crochet from the previous round, and make a picket stitch every 3 single crochets. Everyone finish this round. After completing the last single crochet, slip stitch into the first stitch. Not to pull too tight. The fourth round is now completed. Next, we move on to the fifth round. In the chain space of the first picket on the left side, start with a half double crochet. Then work 3 double crochets. Make a chain stitch. In the same position, work 3 more half double crochets. Make another chain stitch. Continue working 3 double crochets in the same position. 1/2 double crochet. This completes one petal. Then skip the next single crochet below. Make a slip stitch in the following single crochet. Next, work one petal in the chain space of the next picket. This is how you do this round. In each chain space from the picots of the previous round, work one petal. Between each petal, make a slip stitch in the middle stitch. Follow this method to complete the last petal. After finishing the last petal, make a slip stitch in the first slip stitch. Pull tight. Then make one chain stitch. Leave a 30 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. This completes section 1. Next, we will work on section 2. The starting chain and the first row are similar to the flower. Refer to the chart to complete the first row. The swatch has already been completed here. Next, work on the second row. Make a chain stitch to start. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Work 6 double crochets in the second single crochet. After completing, skip one single crochet. Work one single crochet in the left single crochet. Then skip another single crochet. Work 6 double crochets in the next single crochet. Skip another single crochet. Work one single crochet. Then skip one more single crochet. Work 6 double crochets in the next single crochet. Finally, skip one single crochet, start from the next single crochet, and work 8 single crochets evenly. This completes the second row. Continue with the third row. Make a chain stitch to start. Turn the workpiece. Work 8 single crochets on the left side, corresponding to each single crochet. Work 1 chain stitch between each 2 single crochets. After completing the last single crochet, make a slip stitch in the first double crochet on the left side. Then work 2 single crochets. Work 2 chain stitches. Work 2 single crochets correspondingly on the left double crochet. Make a slip stitch in the last double crochet. We will consider what we have worked between these 2 slip stitches as one medium petal. Continue with this method. To complete the remaining 2 medium petals, after finishing the last slip stitch of the petal, make a chain stitch to secure. Leave a 30 cm tail at the end and cut the yarn. This completes section 2. Next, we will assemble. First, fold the other side of the starting yarn tail inward. Ensure the right side of the last row is facing you. Adjust while rolling. Stagger the petals. Aligning the bottoms. Then, thread the reserved yarn tail through a sewing needle. Insert the needle from the edge of the petal. Securing the bottom of section 2 with a few stitches. Then come out from the center. Change the sewing needle. And sew on a small purl. Insert the needle back into the center. And then bring the yarn tail out from the bottom. Take out section 1. Place section 1 with the right side facing up. Put the sewn motif on top of section 1. Sew section 2 onto the third round of section 1. After sewing it together, tie off the yarn tail on the wrong side. Weave it into the fabric. And trim any excess yarn tails. This completes one medium flower. Complete the remaining medium flowers using the same method. Now let's learn how to make the small flowers. They consist of motifs and pearls. Start the motif with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The small flower uses a new stitch. DC 2-in-1. Please watch the demonstration. Everyone, first follow the chart to complete the first round. The sample swatch is already completed. Move on to the second round. First, crochet 6 chain stitches. Then return to the second chain from the hook. Work 5 slip stitches corresponding to each chain stitch. This completes one flower stem. After completing it, make a slip stitch on the single crochet on the left side. Slightly tighten. Then crochet another flower stem. First, crochet 6 chain stitches. Then return to the second chain from the hook. Work 5 slip stitches corresponding to each chain stitch. This completes the second flower stem. Make another slip stitch on the single crochet on the left side. Everyone, follow this method to complete the remaining flower stems. After finishing the last flower stem, the second round is also completed. Continue with the third round. On the first chain stitch of the left flower stem, pick up 2 strands of yarn and make a slip stitch. Then work a single crochet on the left chain stitch. Work a half double crochet on the next chain stitch. Make a DC 2-in-1 on the next chain stitch. This means working 2 double crochets in the same position. This completes a DC 2-in-1. Then work a half double crochet on the left chain stitch. Next, insert the hook into the position for the first slip stitch on the left side. Work a half double crochet. Then insert the hook into the position for the DC 2-in-1. Make a DC 2-in-1. Work a half double crochet in the insertion point of the left half double crochet. Work a single crochet in the insertion point of the left single crochet. Make a slip stitch to finish on the last slip stitch. This completes a small petal. There are 4 more small petals remaining in this round. Complete them all using this method. After completing the last slip stitch, make a chain stitch to secure. Leave a 30 cm tail and cut the yarn. This completes the 3rd round. Next thread the yarn tail through a darning needle. Insert the hook into the first slip stitch. Then switch to a darning needle. Sew on a large purl. Bring the yarn tail out from the center of the piece. Sew on a large purl. Finally, tie a knot on the wrong side. Do not cut the yarn tail. This completes one small flower. Complete the remaining small flowers using this method. Next, let's learn how to make a pompom. There are large pompom and pompom. 2 video demonstrations for making pompom are provided below. You can start by learning the method, then make the corresponding number of fringe. Please watch the demonstration. The method for making fringe using a tassel maker. Common tassel makers generally come in 4 different hook sizes. Different hook sizes result in fringe of different sizes. The diameters of the fringe made are as follows: 3.5 centimeters, 5.5 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 9 centimeters. Choose an appropriately sized tassel maker based on the required diameter of the tassel. Select the right size tassel maker according to the diameter you need. A set of tassel makers consists of 2 halves. Open all the clasps on top. Then align the points and circles here. Dividing it into 2 arcs. Then take out the yarn. Wrap the yarn around the arc. Try to wrap as evenly as possible. fill one side of the arc roughly, or wrap to the desired number of rounds. Once this side is completed, change direction and wrap the other side. Make sure to complete the wrapping on this side as well. After completing the wrapping, fold it in half. Fasten the buckle here. Cut the yarn tails. From the gap in the middle of the tassel maker, cut the yarn. Do the same on the other side. Then cut a piece of yarn about 30 centimeters long. Tie a knot through the gap in the middle of the tassel maker to secure it. Try to pull the yarn tight. Go to the other side and tie another knot. Make several knots to ensure it is securely fastened. Then release the pom-pom from the maker. Fluff it up after. Use scissors to trim it into a more rounded shape. This is what the completed pom-pom looks like. How to make a pom-pom using cardboard. Prepare a piece of thick cardboard that is 1 centimeter wider than the desired pom-pom diameter. That means, if you want a pom-pom with a 4 centimeters diameter, the width of the cardboard should be 5 centimeters. Cut a slit in the middle. Then wrap the yarn around the cardboard. The number of wraps varies, which affects the fullness of the pom-pom. Adjust based on your needs and the remaining yarn. After wrapping, cut the yarn. Then cut a sturdy piece of the same color yarn. Use it to tie all the loops together. Tie a knot. Pass it through to the other side and tie another knot. Tie 2 more knots to secure it firmly. Then remove the loops from the cardboard. Cut the loops at both ends. Fluff it up by rubbing, and trim it into a ball shape with scissors. This is how to make a pom-pom using cardboard. You can attach the pom-pom to the fabric with a tie string. Next, let's learn how to attach decorations. Attach the finished decorations to the main piece. First, determine the position of the center line. Place one of the dent points from the 10th round of the main motif facing upward. Place any dent from the 10th round of the main motif facing upward. Place one of the dent points from the 10th round of the main motif facing upward. Then follow the single crochets downward to find the symmetrical dent point. This is the position of the vertical center line on the main motif. With the vertical center line determined, now locate the horizontal center line, which is 2 single crochets apart from the vertical center line on both sides. Once both center lines are set, you can arrange the decorations. You can see that the decorations form a crescent moon shape overall. First, determine the positions of the 3 flowers. Place one flower on the right side of the horizontal center line. Place another flower below on the left side. Place the third flower slightly to the left of the vertical center line. Next, determine the position of the large pom-poms. Place one large pom-pom at the bottom end of the vertical center line. Place another large pom-pom below the flower on the right side. Once the positions of the flowers and large pom-poms are set, arrange the remaining decorations in a crescent moon shape around the flowers and large pom-poms. You can sew the leaves together with the flowers first, or combine them with medium or small flowers. The specific positions and the number of decorations can be referenced from the finished product, or adjusted according to your own preference. Now, I'll demonstrate the method for attaching. Start by attaching the flowers. Take one flower and a leaf. Thread the reserved yarn tail of the leaf into a sewing needle. Sew it to the bottom of the flower. Once completed, tie a knot. Hide the yarn tail inside the leaf. Trim any excess yarn tails. Next, thread the yarn tail of the flower into a sewing needle. Sew the flower to the right side of the horizontal center line. Sew a few extra stitches to secure it well. Finally, tie a knot. Hide it inside the main body. This completes the attachment of one flower. Attach the remaining 2 flowers using the same method. Then, sew a small flower above and below the main flower. The method is the same as for the flowers. Everyone sew the small flowers securely. Next, sew a medium-sized flower on the left side of the main flower. The method is the same as for the flowers. Everyone should also sew it using the previous method. Attach the decorations. Now, below the flowers and small flowers, sew a large pom-pom. Thread the reserved yarn tail of the large pom-pom into a sewing needle. Attach the decorations. Sewn onto the main body. Finally, tie a knot. Hide it inside the main body. The large pom-pom is now sewn on. Attach the decorations. The large pom-pom is now sewn on. You can refer to the finished product for the specific positions of the remaining decorations, or you can sew them according to your own preference. Everyone should sew all the decorations securely. This completes the explanation of all the decorations. Now let's learn how to make fringe. They consist of feather, hanging loop, strands, and lace band. Each part is made separately, and finally attached to the main body. First, let's learn about the feather. It includes crochet pieces, chain stitches, and wooden beads. The crochet piece starts with the foundation chains. Work back and forth in rows. This section uses new stitch techniques, including SC3-in-1 and SC2 tog. It's important to note that, in the chart, below the symbol for the feather crochet piece, there is a horizontal line. This indicates that you should work the corresponding stitch into the back loop of the picked up stitch. For the specific crochet method, please refer to the demonstration. Start with a chain stitch. After completing it, work the first row. Begin the next row with a chain stitch as a turning chain. Then, work a single crochet into the second to last chain from the hook. Work another single crochet into the left side chain. Next, work 5 single crochets into the last chain. You can hide the starting yarn tail as you crochet. After completing this, work 2 single crochets into the remaining 2 chains. Pick up 2 stitches and work 2 single crochets correspondingly. This completes the first row. Now, move on to the second row. Start with a chain stitch as a turning chain, then, turn your work over. Here, you'll encounter single crochets with horizontal bars. This indicates that you should work into the back loop of the stitch below. In other words, work a single crochet into the farther loop from you. Starting from this row, all stitches will be worked into the back loops only. Next, pick up the back loops of the next 3 single crochets on the left side. Work 3 single crochets. Then, you'll encounter a SC3-in-1, which means working 3 single crochets in the same position. Similarly, these are also worked into the back loops. This completes one SC3-in-1. Next, work 4 single crochets evenly into the remaining single crochets. This completes the second row. Now, let's move on to the third row. Start with a chain 1 as the beginning chain. Turn your work. Then, you'll encounter a SC2 tog. Insert the hook into the back loop of the first single crochet. Pull through. Then insert the hook into the back loop of the adjacent single crochet and pull through. At this point, there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. This completes one SC2 tog. Next, work 3 single crochets evenly into the left side single crochet. Then, work 3 SC-in-1. Followed by 3 more single crochets. Then work another SC2 tog. Let me demonstrate this again. Insert the hook into the back loops of the next 2 single crochets on the left side sequentially. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once again. This completes another SC2 tog. At the same time, row 3 is now completed. For rows 4 through 9, the crocheting method is identical to row 3. Just follow the method used for row 3. For the remaining rows, you can complete them by referring to the pattern chart. After completing the last stitch, secure it with a chain stitch. Leave a 5 cm yarn tail and fasten off. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. This completes the piece. Next, let's learn how to make a chain of slip stitches. Start by making a loose knot with the yarn tail. Then, at the starting point of the crochet piece, draw up a loop. Next, make a slip stitch in the starting chain stitch. Place the yarn tail above the hook. As you crochet, hide it within the stitches. Continue making slip stitches in the starting chain stitch. Place the yarn tail below the hook. Then make a slip stitch in the middle of the first row. Place the yarn tail on the hook. If your stitches are tight, you can slightly enlarge the loop as you crochet. This ensures the piece stays flat. Continue making slip stitches along the middle of each row. Hook a slip stitch. Everyone, follow this method all the way to the last slip stitch. After completing the last slip stitch, start crocheting a chain of lock stitches. Refer to the chart for the specific length, or crochet according to your preference. Once the last chain stitch is done, pull the yarn through. Leave a 10 cm tail and cut the yarn. This completes the chain. Next, thread the reserved yarn tail into a darning needle. Start by threading a large wooden bead. Then thread a small wooden bead. This completes one feather. Next, secure the feather underneath the main piece. 2 feathers are attached on each end of the vertical center line of the main piece. Now, let me demonstrate the installation method. Locate the area below the flower on the left side of the center line. Sew one of the remaining feathers onto the middle single crochet. Finally, tie off the yarn tail on the wrong side. Hide the yarn tail inside the main piece. This completes the installation of one feather. Complete and attach the remaining feathers using the same method. That concludes the explanation of the feathers. Next, we will make the hanging string. It consists of a chain and wooden beads. Start by crocheting a chain. Refer to the chart for the specific length. You can also crochet it according to your preference. Once completed, fold the chain in half. Tie a knot with the beginning and ending yarn tails. Then, thread the yarn tails onto a darning needle. Then thread on a small wooden bead and a large wooden bead. Next, take the hanging string and sew it to the single crochet at the very top of the central vertical line of the main piece. Finally, tie a knot. For the hanging string, hide the yarn tails inside the main piece. Adjust the positions of the small and large wooden beads. This completes the hanging string. Now let's learn about the lace trim. There are 4 pieces in total. Install each lace trim on the left side of the 4 feathers. Let me demonstrate the method for making and attaching them. First, refer to the pattern and cut a segment of lace trim. Then fold it in half. Next, locate the left side of any feather. Position it 8 to 10 single crochets away. Use the crochet hook to draw through the single crochet stitch. Then thread both ends through the loop of the lace trim. Pull tight. This completes one piece of lace trim. Complete the remaining lace trims using the same method. That concludes the explanation of the lace trim. Next, let's learn about the lines. Start by cutting line segments to the same length. Then combine 2 threads into one. Attach them on the last round of single crochets of the main piece. The overall area is below the decoration. It covers 2/3 of the circle's width. For the arrangement of line colors, you can follow the color sequence of the yarn ball. You can also adjust according to your preference. Refer to the pattern for specific quantities. Adjustments can also be made based on the remaining yarn. Now, let's show a demonstration. First, cut 2 line segments to the same length by referring to the diagram. Then combine them. Next, fold in half. Find any feather on the main piece. At a position 1 single crochet apart on the right side of the feather. Use the hook to pull the line segment through the next single crochet stitch. Then thread the yarn tail through the loop. Pull tight. This completes one line segment. Next, cut 2 more line segments and combine them. Then skip 1 single crochet stitch. Use the hook to pull the line segment through the next single crochet stitch. Then thread the yarn tail through the loop. Pull tight. This completes the second line segment. There are 2 remaining line segments. Attach them to the right side of this line segment, each spaced 1 single crochet stitch apart. This completes 1 group of line segments. For the remaining line segments, follow this method, and attach them to the main piece. This concludes the explanation for attaching the line segments. After all the fringe are attached, you can trim the lengths of the threads. Up to this point, the crocheting method for this Dreamcather is now fully explained. If you have any unclear parts while crocheting, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get support. Susan's family. Support your handwork experience. Enjoy the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.